Okay, good evening, everybody. I am going to ask that we do a roll call for establishment of quorum. Roxy Finer present.
Sarah Ethier.
Larry Duffy, Anthony Kepler.
Here. Steve Carr here.
Matt Biddle.
Thank you. I will call this meeting to order at 7:05. If we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Steve Carr, vote to approve the agenda dated November 10th, 2025 as presented.
Nate Beer, a second.
Matt Van Ormer, I move to amend the motion to change agenda item 11.2 to add two motions specifically. Vote to permit policy 5141.25 student with special health care needs be fast tracked by 2/3 vote of the members present at tonight's Board of Education meeting, and vote to accept and approve the changes to policy 5142.25 student with special health care needs as presented.
Beer, a second.
The board welcomes public participation in accordance with the rules of common courtesy and the bylaws of the board 9325 meeting conduct. 5 minutes may be allotted to each speaker and a maximum of 20 minutes to each subject matter. No boisterous conduct shall be permitted. Persistence in boisterous conduct shall be grounds for termination of that person's privilege to address the board. The chairperson may clear the room so that the board members may continue the meeting. No oral presentation shall include charges, complaints against any Board of Education employee, regardless of whether or not the employee is identified by name. Speakers are asked to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by their comments. While it is not the board's intent to stifle public comment, speakers should be aware that if their statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, the speaker may be held legally responsible. Speakers unsure of the legal ramifications of what they are about to say are urged to consult first with their legal advisor. Per the August 2016 Policy Committee meeting, responses to speakers will be in the form of a written letter from the board chairperson, and that letter will be attached to the meeting minutes. Speakers will not receive a verbal reply to public comment during a meeting. Did any members of the public wish to address the board? Mr. Cilio, please come forward.
I am Rich Soleo, 198 Babbitt Road. I serve on the steering committee for the feasibility study. I would like to just let everyone know that, first of all, there are many updates that are on the town's website that can be viewed in terms of the progress we've made over the past month. In addition, and more importantly, the second community workshop will be held this Thursday, November 13th at 6:30 in the high school cafeteria here. All folks in the town are welcome. Would especially like to invite all the Board of Ed members, as well as all of the faculty and staff of the school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nate Vieira. I'm a member of the Thomaston Board of Education, and my address is 131 Humison Circle here in Thomaston. I want to begin by thanking everyone who supported the Post-22 American Dream Scholarship. That night alone, we raised over $2,500 to support 2 yet-to-be-determined recipients from the Thomaston graduating class of 2026. Your generosity directly supports our students and helps keep the American dream alive for the next generation, and for that, I thank you. Now, with that event behind us, there are several other upcoming events related to the Board of Education that I'd also like to highlight. This Thursday, November 13th, as you've heard, there will be a second community conversation regarding the district and the ongoing feasibility study in the THS cafeteria at 6:30. Also on Monday, November 17th, the swearing in of elected officials will be taking place at the Lena Morton Art Gallery at 7:30 p.m. Next Wednesday, the Board of Education organizational meeting, where the officers for the next BOE session will be voted on by the membership here in the THS auditorium at 5 p.m. That same day, directly following that, there will be a Thomaston School District-backed community conversation at Black Rock School beginning at 6 p.m. And if I lost you at any point there, I will be posting or reposting that info to my Facebook page, Nate Vieira Thomaston BOE, in the coming days. Another public event, which is taking place tomorrow, is a Veterans Day ceremony on the Memorial Park Green across from Patty's Place at 11 a.m., where we will be honoring all those who have served our great nation and made it into the bastion of freedom and beacon of hope for the world over that we know it as today. I would also like to take a moment to thank our outgoing board members, Steve Carr, Matt Van Ormer, Beth Campbell, and Frank Treglia, for their combined 32 years of service to our town on the Board of Education. Like so many other dedicated volunteers to this community, they have served out a great commitment, taking time away from their families and personal lives and devoting it towards the success of our town, schools, and students. I hope you will join me in thanking them in serving our community. Finally, I would like to wish all my fellow Marines out there, including one sitting here tonight, Board of Education member Steve Carr, a happy 250th birthday. The Marine Corps has stood as a symbol of honor, courage, and commitment, values that we hope every student in Thomaston carries with them in their own lives. And I also want to extend that same goodwill to any Thomaston student who may have attended today's Veterans Day Assembly and feels inspired to serve our country, whether in the Marine Corps or any other branch of the armed forces. Should any of them step onto those yellow footprints one day to serve our great nation as one of the few and the proud, I know they will have the full support and admiration of our community behind them. In honor of our great Corps and Chesty Puller, wherever you are, happy birthday, Marines, 250 years later, and there is still no better friend and no worse enemy. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. If I could have a motion to approve the minutes, please.
Steve Carr, vote to approve the regular meeting minutes dated October 20th, 2025 as presented.
Beth Campbell, second.
Any corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
Steve Carr, vote to approve the special meeting minutes dated November 5th, 2025 as presented.
Beth Campbell, second.
Any corrections? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Moving into our recognitions, we are going to honor our October Rotary Student of the Month, Brianna Renaulter.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would first like to express my gratitude and thank the Rotary Club for this opportunity. I would also like to thank my teachers, peers, family, and friends for always supporting me. Some of you may already know me as the girl who forgot the extra memory card last meeting, but I promise I am much more than that. A driving factor of my high school experience and a motto that I choose to live by is that life is what you make it. By involving myself in different activities and communities at Thomaston High, I have created the experience that I wanted to have. I always express to my younger peers how necessary it is to become part of something greater than yourself during your high school years. By participating in sports such as track and field, clubs like Student Council, Science Club, NHS, and SAGE, I have learned teamwork, leadership, resilience, discipline, and responsibility. Being on a sports team was unlike my usual sport experience. As a competitive dancer, I'm taught to be present, focus on myself, and be perfect. However, when I joined the track team freshman year, I learned that showing up for your teammates, trying your hardest, and always looking for improvement, while also supporting each other, is truly what sports are about. The Thomaston track taught me how not to give up when facing setbacks, injuries, or roadblocks. Instead, I can choose to change my perspective and continue growing. As Vice President of Student Council, President of SAGE Club, President of the National Honor Society, and the SAGE Liaison for Science Club, I have had the privilege of serving my student body and community through leadership. I've helped facilitate fundraisers such as the Back to School Night for Student Council, lead our school's monthly NHS-sponsored All-Star Assemblies that recognize the hard work and dedication of Thomaston students and staff, and perhaps most importantly, I get to raise awareness and educate the community on topics such as sustainability, climate change, environmental protection, and earth scientists through the SAGE and Science Clubs. I would not have been able to achieve any of this without the supportive environment that flourishes within the Thomaston High School's extracurriculars. I also believe that it's important to pursue what you are passionate about. For example, sophomore year, I joined the Science and Engineering cohort, where I let my curiosity and passion for medicine drive an independent research project, which focused on the prevention of graft versus host disease using cyclophosphamide post-blood transplantation. In the upcoming months, I will be working as an intern with the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center to analyze data from an ongoing clinical trial for GVHD prophylaxis. Without this class, I would have never discovered my love for medicine or have the confidence to believe I could pursue a career in this field. As I reflect on my journey, I am reminded that every challenge, every opportunity, and every community that I have been a part of has shaped me into the person that I am today. Thomaston High School has given me not only an education, but strong friendships, community, and a foundation of values that I will carry with me wherever I go. I am excited to continue exploring my passion for medicine outside of high school while remaining committed to giving back to the communities that have supported me. Once again, I would like to sincerely thank the Rotary Club for this honor and the encouragement that you give to students like myself.
Okay. Our next honorees are our Class S State Champion, Thomaston High School Boys Cross Country Team. Members Jackson DiDonato, Matthew Johnson, Ted Valero, our own G. Wilmot Hungerford, Jacob Lee, Bo Kozaszewski, Braden Walker, and coaches Eric Kozaszewski and Mark Olson. Congratulations on a job well done. Okay. Our November 2025 staff spotlight is our head custodian at Thomaston Center School, Craig LaFive. He is a modest and humble person, so he is not here with us tonight, but I would like to read what was written by his principal, Kristen Bernier. It is with great pride and gratitude we recognize Mr. Craig LaFive in this month's staff spotlight. Since 1989, Mr. LaFive has demonstrated outstanding service and unwavering dedication to Thomaston Public Schools. For more than 3 decades, Mr. LaFive has been an integral part of our school community, ensuring that our students, staff, and visitors are welcomed into a clean, safe, and well-cared-for environment every single day. Throughout his remarkable career, Craig has exemplified the highest standards of professionalism, dependability, and pride in his work. His attention to detail, steady presence, and friendly demeanor have made him not just a custodian, but a cornerstone of our school family. Whether working late after an event, stepping in to help during emergencies, or offering a kind word to student in the hallways, Mr. LaFive consistently goes above and beyond his duties. As the school principal, I appreciate Mr. LaFive's expertise and professional opinions on matters pertaining to the maintenance of our beloved older school, and I enjoy Craig's sense of humor and perspective on life in general. Craig LaFive's commitment over the years reflects a genuine love for our schools and the Thomaston community. He has observed generations of students pass through our doors, first as a custodian at Black Rock School and more recently at Thomaston Center School, and his contributions have quietly supported the success and well-being of every one of them. His legacy of care, consistency, and excellence inspires those who work with him. His hard work and heart have left an indelible mark on our school, and we are truly honored to call him part of our family. In his leisure time, Craig enjoys spending time with his wife Danielle and their 2 children, Yvette and Mark. Congratulations to a well-deserved honor. Okay, next we have our presentations regarding the biennial appointment of the board attorney. Our first guest is Attorney Daniel Murphy, Attorney Stephen Steedor, and Attorney Kenneth Weinstock from Canaan, Escalera, and McHale.
That's on, right? Okay. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Dan Murphy, and with me are Ken Weinstock and Steve Seedor. We are with the firm of Canaan, Escalera, and McHale. We have been doing work for the board since, I believe it's February of 24, where we were called in to do some student expulsion matters. We've handled student residency issues since then. We've also done some investigations, including a Title IX matter. So we do have some experience already with the board. Personally, I joined Canaan back in 2011 after having spent 2 years as chief legal counsel for the State Department of Ed. And prior to that, I was with another firm. And at that time, I was doing actually almost all of the work for the Thomaston Board of Education as well as for the town. So we do have some great familiarity with the board, and we'd like to expand the work that we're doing and offer you full services with the exception of special education. I know we have a 5-minute limit, so we're going to kind of rotate quickly, and my partner Ken is going to talk a little bit about the firm and introduce yourself.
Sure. Good evening. Thanks for having us. I'm Ken Weinstock. I've been practicing at Canaan, Escalera, and McHale for about 18 years. Prior to that, like Dan and Steve, I worked at a large firm in Hartford. All of our attorneys have. We're a 9-attorney firm. We represent employers exclusively, and there are 6 of us that work in the public sector, representing boards of education, in particular cities and towns, on a full scope of labor, employment, and education law issues, from negotiating contracts to the types of things that Dan mentioned, to grievance arbitrations, to a whole span of labor, employment, and education issues. I always like to say that you're looking at the 3 most junior people at our firm, who each of us have over 30 years of practice experience, and that's quite intentional. We don't hire associates. We don't have clients pay to train younger, lesser experienced attorneys. So you will, if we're working with you, you will have someone working with you, or a number of us working with you, depending on the situation, who all have at least 30 years of practice experience. With that said, though, there's typically only one person who would work with you on a particular matter. You won't see multiple attorneys staffing a particular issue because of our depth of experience and the knowledge that we have. So that allows us a lot of flexibility to get quick answers in a time and cost-efficient way.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Seedor, and I have been with Canaan, Escalera, and McHale for 2 months. I have been with large firms and small firms and have been practicing in the field of labor, education, and school law now going on my 30th year, and I'm very happy to be doing that. I've had the opportunity to negotiate dozens and dozens of contracts on behalf of teachers, administrators, as well as all non-certified units, ranging from anywhere between custodians and secretaries and pairs on the Board of Ed side, as well as police and fire and town hall units on the town side. So I've been very familiar with how collective bargaining works, and that has really been the area has been my specialty over the past decades or so, as well as my representation with respect to boards of ed, everything from expulsion hearings, teacher termination hearings, and the like, anything that would fall under the heading of labor and school law. This is what I do, this is what we do, and this is our niche practice, and we'd be more than happy to have the pleasure of assisting you in the future.
I think at this point, we're probably still within our 5 minutes, but we're happy to answer questions from the board.
Is there just a random district that you've done teacher negotiation contracts with recently?
Recently,
So, I mean, I can speak for myself. I've done 6 of them, 5 teachers and 1 school administrator contract, and Region 7, Plainville, oh my gosh, Guilford, Stafford for their school administrators, Enfield, I may be missing one, but that was just this fall with those teacher and 1 administrator contract. And we have others.
Yeah, I had Canterbury this year. That was the only one I had this year, but go ahead.
So
Oh, and Thompson.
within the past 2 years, I've negotiated Fairfield, Greenwich, as well as districts as small as Chaplin, having as small of a unit as 20. Others that I have done include Orange this year, Monroe as well. On top of that, Dan and I have both done the Thompson administrators as well as the teachers there. In addition to that, Region 11, as well as locally, or at least most locally, Barkhamsted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Have a wonderful evening.
Next presentation is from Attorney Mark Somaruga and Attorney Kimberly Catala from Pullman and Comley.
I'm actually bringing my stopwatch with me, okay, because I know that people are very literal. I hope the microphone's working. Just good evening. Thank you for your service, by the way. I really, you folks are here getting the grand total of $0 to be here, and I really have a lot of respect for you because when I do late night meetings, I'm being paid to be there, and you folks are giving a lot of your time, so I do appreciate that. Just briefly, why you should pick Pullman and Conley. We are a large firm. We have over 90 attorneys. We have many, many practice areas besides what we do, what we do in terms of school law, but we also have I call a small firm ethos. We're a small boutique law firm within a large law firm. I think the most important thing I take pride in and we take pride in is our accessibility. That means accessibility in terms of being available at any time, for better or worse. We're like doctors. You can reach us at any time, including weekends, nights, mornings, anytime you need to reach us, you can reach us. But also just in terms of being accessible, in terms of our relationships, we don't talk down to people. We like to try to learn our clients and work with them. Our experience, we have plenty of experience. As you can see by the color of my November beard, I've been doing this for many, many years, but we also have valuable new talent, which always helps reinvigorate us. And we believe we have value for what we offer. Again, I've been doing this for, guess what? November 25th of this year will be my 34th year practicing law. And again, for the record, I'm still Mark Samaruga. Kim, come forward and tell about your experience.
Hi, I'm Kim Catala. I'm an associate with Pullman and Comley in the labor and employment and the school law group. Prior to my time at Pullman and Comley, I clerked with Justice McDonald at the Connecticut Supreme Court, and I also bring a background in education. I taught for 5 years, first in New Haven for 3 years, high school, and then I moved to Archbridge, which is a small special education boarding school and therapeutic boarding school as well. So I bring that education background into my practice. One of the things I really like about Pullman and what we offer is a lot of different training opportunities to all of our clients. So a monthly event that we have is our Title IX on the Nines, which is pretty important given the landscape and the changes in the federal law regarding Title IX. We also do webinars, both for labor and employment and with a school law focus that we offer for all of our clients. And then at a smaller level, we also do things like board trainings for new board members who are coming in, and guidance as we go through. Something that I've been working on quite a bit is updating policies and new contract language. My background in education really helps me to do that because I have an understanding of the intricacies of things that teachers are going through, what their day-to-day looks like, and also how it interacts with the administration and yourselves with the Board of Education. Do you want to touch base on the other, on Melinda and?
Yeah, well,
Zach.
yeah, Melinda, the people that work, we would have 4 attorneys. I would work with you and you could probably choose which one of the 4 you think is most, you like the most. So let's put it that way. Zach Shuren's been practicing law for 17 years. He's actually the head of our school law section. And Melinda Kaufman, who's, I think, one of the preeminent Title IX attorneys in the state of Connecticut. We have that experience. But we've done everything you could do in terms of collective bargaining, special education, general education, policy work, whatever needs to be done, we've done it. We have ample experience on that, but we also have the full service backup of other areas of the law. We have other needs, whether it might be a real estate issue, whether it may be a construction issue, something, if one of your roofs, knock on wood, if you have a problem with your roof or some construction issue, we're there to support you. You know, we work with the administration, but we also work with the Board of Education, whatever issues you may have. And as far as other things going, I'm actually a lawyer only, but I also did, for better or worse, I did happen to write in my spare time a book on the Freedom of Information Act, everyone's favorite law, correct? So that's an area of sub-interest. We also have other things we've written. We have our blog, but we also have a guide which is called Roles and Responsibilities for Board of Education members. That goes with our training that we have here. I think, anything else you wish to say, Kim, in the 33 seconds we have left?
No, the only thing I'll say is with the blog, a lot of times what I do is when we have current issues that come up, then I'll draft a blog. Being the youngest associate, I have some extra time, so I'll draft a blog, which can be helpful for other clients. And it's a free resource. So it's something that you can look at for things that are coming up in the news, things that are timely that you might need more information on.
Okay, we actually had 8 seconds to spare, so I'm proud of ourselves. Do you have any questions about our firm, the materials we gave, about the law in general? Hey, you have a free attorney here, so take advantage of it.
I will, but in regards to the new board member training, currently we utilize CABE, and that's included with our initial cost with CABE.
Yeah.
In terms of that with you guys, is that an added expense? Is that lumped in? And if not, for the record, is that like an hourly rate? I'm sure it's a set number of hours. What's that like?
We would provide as a gift, so to speak. We would do a board in service on board's roles and responsibilities gratis if you were to choose us.
Okay.
And again, we have about a 63-page booklet we give out.
Right. I actually have one next week that we're providing to one of the clients. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, we work hand in hand. We're proud. We're proud, I guess, we're gold members of CABE. I can't remember which mineral specifically, but we work well with CABE, but we also have our own thing we do as well too. And actually at the CABE convention, all of the school law attorneys mentioned here will be presenting. I'll be speaking on, of course, the FOIA, but I'll also be speaking with Zach Shuren on changes from Washington, D.C., how it affects school districts in Connecticut. And Kim and Melinda, you'll be speaking about Title IX. So if you're going to the CABE convention, we hope to see you there.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Do you guys have any, or have you ever worked with schools if they are starting to go through regionalization or any legal matters that might pop up in those situations?
Short answer is yes. I've had sometimes it's been successful, other times unsuccessful, because sometimes you go through that and people get left at the altar. Or in a couple circumstances, I was involved with one personally, but then the voters voted down. But yes, we've been involved in those processes, both for regionalization or some kind of co-op agreements, which is sort of a stepchild of regionalization, or other types of mechanisms like that as well. But yes. I'll just say, as a person went to the Gilbert School, as a former Berkshire League athlete, I'm proud of the folks at your cross country team. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Attorney Julia Wild from Shipman and Goodwin.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's nice to meet you all in person. I'm Julia Wild, and I am a partner in Shipman and Goodwin's School Law Group, part of our Labor, Employment, and Education group. I have had the privilege of working with the Thomaston Board of Ed and your superintendent and your director of student services for the past 2 years in the area of special education. We have a very active special education practice at Shipman with a number of attorneys who focus primarily on special education, all aspects. So we work with districts to try and ensure compliance with state and federal regulations. We provide updates on legislative changes to make sure that our clients are fully informed. This particular past legislative session, there were a number of updates pertaining specifically to special education. So we try to stay on top of all of that to keep you and the other Board of Education clients we have informed. In Thomaston, I have been lucky to work on pretty much every aspect of special education. Don't laugh. Everything from participating in planning and placement team meetings, right? We have had, fortunately or unfortunately, some opportunity to work together in terms of due process hearings. So under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, parents have certain rights to challenge or disagree with the special education related services or the individualized education program that the district may be offering. And so we, work through that process with the district. We've had the opportunity to work on some alternative dispute resolution in terms of mediation. The state has a voluntary program for mediation in order to try to resolve those disputes, which I would say is a primary focus of our special education practice is really about collaborating with the district and trying to build or repair relationships with families. I think that's really, really important to us in the area of special education. We also have had occasion to work with your district in terms of Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Section 504, like the ADA, is a civil rights act, right, that tries to ensure a level playing field for all students with disabilities. In the area of Section 504 and special education, there are also certain protections afforded to students with regard to student discipline. So we're very mindful of that. And we often, see situations where there's an intersection between a student's rights under those laws and then the need to impose disciplinary action, right? For student conduct that is not in accordance with our code of conduct in the district. What else can I say? We have a significant amount of experience in special education, a large number of districts with whom we work. As I said, we've been really delighted to have the opportunity to work with your superintendent and your director of student services. And so we would, certainly appreciate and be honored to have the opportunity to continue to work with you in the area of special education. I did bring with me my colleague, Rebecca Santiago, who I was hoping could just give you all just a brief overview. Shipman is, of course, a full service firm with a dedicated school law practice. I thought Rebecca might be able to give you just a quick overview of all the other things besides special ed that we do.
All right, this cliff is terrifying me.
She's waiting for
I
me to
am
fall over the
not
edge.
letting her fall over the edge. Right, it would be a wonderful heroic moment when I save her, but I don't want to do that. So
That would be story of the month.
it would be story of the month for sure. But I'm Rebecca Santiago. I'm here just very, very briefly because although I do practice special education, just like my colleague Julie Wild, I also practice labor and employment as well as general school law as well. So I can give you a little bit of a taste of who Shipman is more generally. We have a big bench of students of lawyers who practice primarily school law. About 20 of us are dedicated to doing nothing but school law. And that's very intentional because we want to make sure that 20 lawyers, one, are completely up to date with everything that's going on so that we can be incredibly efficient to our clients. When people call us, we want to have already reviewed the law, know the updates in the law, be able to answer the question very quickly. So what might take another firm longer to research and therefore more money to the district that's asking the question, we like to be able to be on top of things. We like to have a dedicated group, and we represent a large number of clients. It's I think about 100 of the school districts, and there's only 169 I think in the state, right? So we represent so many of them that we often encounter many of the issues, and again, that helps us with our efficiency. In terms of what we do employment, we do special ed, we do labor, we do general ed, we do freedom of information, we do grievances, we do everything full service. But we also are a large firm, so we also have real estate lawyers and environmental lawyers and construction lawyers and
tax attorneys.
And so if
we let them do their thing.
Right. So if those issues come up, rather than having to research the tax issues, research the real estate issues, we can phone a friend. And so we call our colleague that practices in that area, and we can, again, very efficiently answer the question for the client. Are we over? Yeah. All right. Well, so I'll wrap up by just saying, thank you so much for having us here today. If there's any questions that you have about, who we are more generally as a firm, I'm more than happy to answer them. But I know Julie very much enjoys working here.
Yes, very much.
We're very happy to be here this evening with you.
Yeah. So with that, if anybody has any questions about anything we do, we're happy to answer them. Otherwise, we, hope to continue our relationship with Thomaston. It's been a great one thus far.
So I do have a question.
Yes.
What happens when there is a conflict between districts that are represented by Shipman?
It happens very infrequently, but when it does happen, in order for there to be a conflict, there would have to be adverse interests between the parties. So there would have to be a true positional conflict where one district thinks another district, has an adverse position. But in any case, we try our very best to work through it. We're often able to obtain a waiver or to address the conflict. But if we're not, then if there was a true conflict, we would have to refer the matter to a colleague. But it happens very infrequently. In the 22 years that I've been doing this, I can count on one hand the times I've had to refer out a matter, because most of the time we're able to negotiate the conflict or address the issue, or it's not been determined to be a true conflict.
I would say in the context, of our school laws, the places where it really doesn't develop into a true conflict, but is sometimes just a sensitivity to be aware of are, for example, students attending schools of choice, right? The students attending a magnet school, and we also represent the magnet school operator. That is something that we have dealt with in the past, and it doesn't present a conflict. I think the same thing with designated high schools in our smaller districts, that sometimes becomes an issue as well. But it has not been a stumbling block. And as Rebecca said, I think it's very infrequent that we actually have to refer anything out. We typically collaborate amongst ourselves, so that there also are not, two shipment attorneys at a PPT or something like that. We're able to work it out. Yeah, you're welcome. Going once, going twice. All set. All right. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Good night.
Our next presentation is Attorney Nicholas Grello from Zangari, Cohn, Cuthbertson, Duell, and Grello.
Good evening, everybody. Well, Mark's been practicing for 34 years. Dan Murphy's been with you for 2 years. I've been practicing 36 years, and I've been with you 36 years. In September of 1989, my firm asked me to help George Counter out with some stuff. And within months, George hired me as a full-time attorney to represent you in all matters. Since September of 89, I've worked with George Counter. I work with Chris Clouet, work with Linda Mitchell. I work with Francine. I can honestly say I have proudly served this Board of Education during that entire time frame. I think I've always given you excellent service. And I'm sure I've known Mark forever. I've known Dan forever. He used to be my partner, which is why I brought him in here to do conflict work. Everybody in this room who's presented tonight is an excellent attorney. The difference is I've been your excellent attorney. At 8:20 this morning, Francine called me. I was eating my oatmeal. So I asked her if I can call her back in 5 minutes, which I did. We went through an issue. We addressed it. We came up with a solution, came up with a game plan, and we were done. I followed that up with Michelina asked me to come up with a template for a letter to address issues in the future. Once I was done with my mediation, it was done. When Francine writes to me at 4:30 in the morning, I usually respond by 4:35 because I'm going to the gym. I can honestly tell you, and again, I'm sure Mark is telling the truth, that he jumps through hoops. I've jumped through hoops for you. I want to continue to jump through hoops. In all honesty, I hate going through this. Every 2 years, I have to come back here and give you my spiel as to why you should continue to employ me. But the truth is, the proof is in the pudding. I am as dedicated to you as anything in this world other than my wife, who I've been with for 42 years. I want to continue on with you. I don't see any good faith basis to move on from me. I will jump when you tell me to jump. I give you excellent legal advice, and I do it in a cost-effective way. As much as my partners hate the fact that in 8 years since I've been at my new firm, I've raised my rate by $10 to you in 8 years. The truth is my name is on the door, so I can do that. Making ultimate dollars from you is not what's important to me. Giving you good legal advice, sound legal advice at cost-effective means is what's important to me. I have lived and breathed every one of your contracts. I've negotiated every one of your contracts. Every time we do it, we come out with a solution and a collective bargaining agreement that we can live with. We have not had to go to binding arbitration. We don't go to grievance arbitration. We don't have issues here. And I think it's because you have an excellent team of administrators and you've got excellent legal advice behind it. I think another thing that Francine will tell you, as well as Andrea and your administrators, I do not nickel and dime you for anything. The call this morning from Francine, if it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, if it's text, you don't see a bill for it. I'm not driven by making money. I've been doing this forever. I don't need money. I really like the game. I really like to do what I do. I like the strategy. And in all honesty, I really hope that this marriage can continue. And one day you'll catch up to the 42 years that I'm with my wife. And hopefully that keeps going. But I do want to say that I've enjoyed working with you. I've been dedicated to this Board of Education. I continue to be dedicated and will continue to be. Thanks, everybody.
Yep, if somebody will make a motion. Yes, that would be what we're doing.
Matt Van Ormer, I vote to appoint the Board of Education attorney from Attorney Nicholas Grillo or Sigari Cohen. I'm going to go with the Grillo one for the next biannual period.
I just had a question about the first firm that presented. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure I understood the first firm that presented. They said that they've been working with our district since 2024. Is that correct?
When we have a hearing, like expulsion or residency, and the administration needs an attorney, the board attorney sits with the board that's hearing the matter. And then we need an attorney from a different firm to sit with administration. So that's what he's referencing. Yes. Are there any other questions? Okay. All those in favor of appointing Attorney Grello to continue as the board attorney, say aye. Aye. Can we do it by name so we can get an accurate tally?
Kepler, aye. Larry Duffy, nay.
Sarah Ethier, nay.
Roxy Finer, aye. Okay, the motion failed. Someone else going to make another motion?
Nate Viera, I make a motion to appoint the Board of Education attorney from Shipman and Goodman for the next biennial period.
Sarah Ethier, second.
We'll do a roll call again.
Anthony Kepler, aye. Larry Duffy, aye.
Sarah Ethier, aye.
Roxy Finer, nay. The motion carries.
Nate Viera, I make a motion to vote to appoint the special education attorney from Shipman and Goodman for the next biennial period.
Sarah Ethier, second.
We'll do it by roll.
Here, aye. Anthony Kepler, aye. Larry Duffy, aye.
Sarah Ethier, aye.
Roxy Finer, aye. The motion carries. Thank you very much. Mr. LaFive, our custodian, and who is our staff spotlight for the month of November, was able to come, so we would like to congratulate him again on his dedication and service to the district.
Oh, gotcha.
Next up, we have our student representative report.
Luke Scola here. With the first marking period closing on October 30th, students are looking forward to starting off the second marking period in the right direction. Parent-teacher conferences were on November 5th and 6th, and many students were telling me that their parent-teacher conferences went well. Many parents had great meetings with the teachers and the staff. Students have Tuesday, November 4th off for election day and half days on the 5th and 6th due to parent-teacher conferences. Remember, students, it's important to start this quarter off strong because there's a lot of things to do in the wintertime. Clubs have been working hard at THS. The Science Club hosted a volleyball tournament on November 7th, which my team won. And many students came and had fun while supporting Thomaston. The Interact Club is hosting a Veterans Day breakfast and has been collecting pennies for polio. Many clubs have been having weekly meetings, including National Honor Society, Interact Club, and many more. And a big shout out to all the advisors for these clubs. We appreciate you all.
Now on to athletics. Congratulations to our boys cross country team for winning the Class S state championship on October 25th. This is a huge win for the team because the last time they were state champions was over a decade ago. After winning the state championship, the boys moved on to opens, competing with the best the state had to offer. The girls soccer season ended on November 1st with an 0-3 first round loss to 13-seeded Lyman Memorial. The girls will compete in the Winter League at FSA to keep touches on the ball and prepare for next year. Any girls interested in seeking to play in the winter season should reach out to Layla Wilds. Looking back, the girls had a great season accomplishing things that surprised many people. They finished 4th in the Berkshire League, 20th in the state, ending with a final record of 7-10-0. And finally, for special events, to close the Halloween season, the Thomaston PTA hosted a trunk or treat on November 1st. This event brought families across the district together for a fun time with tons of treats. On November 7th, the Science Club hosted a volleyball tournament at 6 p.m. in the THS gym. This event served as a fundraiser for Science Club, while also giving students a fun activity to do on a Friday night. On November 14th, the freshman class will be hosting a lip sync battle in the gym from 7 to 9 p.m. Students should email Ms. Feiner if they're interested in competing. On November 20th, 2025, THS will be hosting Fall Sports Awards, sponsored by the Thompson Booster Club. And finally, the THS Drama Club will be performing Beetlejuice the Musical on November 22nd from 7 p.m. to 9:30, and then on November 23rd from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And that concludes the report.
Vera. Hey, Vera, just want to again say congrats to you and the Team G on the big victory, and congrats, Luke, on your volleyball dub. One question I have for you, Luke. How do we do against Berlin?
We won by 6 in the playoffs, so we got the championship game next week against Watertown.
Another dub.
Okay, moving into my report. You've got the progress report on our 25-26 goals for the board and the superintendent as presented. We had the Ed Advance Board of Directors meeting on Thursday, November 6th, and the big concern for Ed Advance is with Head Start and the situation with the federal government. The state has stepped in and funded Head Start for the month of November, but if the feds can't get their act together and get funding restored, the Head Start programs are going to be in peril of closing. as of December 1st. So we hope that does not happen. We have the response to public comment as presented, and board member term rules. So I had asked Kathy to make a statement regarding the new board members for members of the public who listen to us on the roll call. We have one new member, Larry Duffany, who is already seated with us at this meeting tonight. But as you know, we also elected 3 other board members. And the reason for the difference in the start of the terms is that Mr. Duffany is taking the term that was held by Frank Treglia. And Frank Treglia was originally elected to this term on November 16th, 2021. He resigned on October 30th, 2023. And then the Board of Education reappointed him on November 27th, 2023. So this term is considered an unexpired term on the ballot. The term started November 16th, 2021 and ends November 16th, 2027. Since it's an ongoing term, it is immediately filled until after the election on November 16th, 2027. So that is why Larry is seated with us this evening, and our other new members will be joining us at our organizational meeting on November 19th. So I just wanted the public to understand what was going on with that situation. At this time, I would like to recognize the service of our outgoing Board of Education members. First, we have Beth Campbell. During Beth's tenure with the board, she served as chairperson, and she has been on the board for more years than we care to count. So we thank you. Our next person is Steve Carr, who served as treasurer and as a board member. We thank you for your service. As I mentioned, Frank Treglia is our outgoing member. He was not here with us this evening, so we thank him for his service. And last but not least, Matt Van Ormer, who is the vice president, as well as a board member. We thank you. And that concludes my report.
Larry Duffany, I have a question from your report. So at the beginning of the meeting, or just prior to public comment, we announced that all responses will be posted to the meeting minutes. However, that's not where they reside. They reside in the agenda. So my question is, does there need to be a revision to policy? Because I think that it's actually the right place in the agenda. Otherwise, you'd have to constantly redo the minutes. So if the policy says that the response is in the minutes, that's where they ought to reside. But if the policy actually says that it's supposed to be in the agenda, that's great. But if we're saying that it's supposed to be in one place but appears in another, then we have an inconsistency with policy and practice. And I'm just wondering if that's something that needs to be looked at by the policy committee.
If that is indeed true, then we would need to look at that in the policy meeting, but I do believe they are with the minutes as well.
No.
They're in both. They're the minutes of this meeting. They're not in the minutes of the last meeting. They're in the minutes of this meeting.
Okay, but I went through the last several meetings minutes looking for responses and didn't find any.
Larry, either way, the policy committee for this board is done. If it gets brought up with policy, that'll be up to the next vice chair who chairs the policy committee. We could definitely look into it.
Okay.
Long story short.
Thank you. This is Francine Cost. I will give my report at this time. My report begins with correspondence. Items 10-111 through 10-114 are self-explanatory. I ask that the board vote to acknowledge the superintendent's correspondence per policy 2131 as presented.
Steve Carr, vote to acknowledge the superintendent's correspondence per policy 2131 as presented.
Larry Duffy, second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The next part of my report continues correspondence, but it's correspondence sent to either myself or the Board of Education. That is self-explanatory. Under reports, we have a general report this month, specifically a report on an updated curriculum guide. I ask that the board accept and approve the Exploring Technology Curriculum Guide as presented.
Steve Carr, vote to accept and approve the Exploring Technology Curriculum Guide as presented.
Nate Beer, second.
Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. The next report, sub-report to my report, is the administrator's reports. They're given monthly, along with some information regarding some matters of student discipline and residency. There is no information, there are no new information this month for homeschooling. There is an updated enrollment report that is attached to my report. And then under personnel, we have no new hires. We have 6 transfers or new assignments or reassignments. We have 1 resignation, no retirements, no terminations or non-renewals. And we have 5 stipends, with the last one being a coach and the first 4 being stipends that would be during the school day, not during the school day, but associated with academics and not with sports, excuse me. I ask that the board vote to acknowledge the superintendent's notification of personnel per policy 4112, 4212 as presented.
Steve Carr, vote to acknowledge the superintendent's notification of personnel per policy 4112, 4212 personnel, certified, non-certified appointment, and conditions of employment as presented.
Nate Beer, second.
Any questions or concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Abstain. Okay, the motion carries. The next items under personnel are family medical leave and interns and student teachers. Both of them have nothing new since our last meeting. However, I would like to thank the board for their understanding prior to the 2 weeks that I will be spending with a family member who will be having surgery. I put that information out to our community today so that they would be aware. And I also want to publicly acknowledge Mr. Kozlak for agreeing to step in as my designee during those 2 weeks. There are no field trips being requested at this time. And for our new member, Larry, we only bring field trips to the Board of Ed if they're out of state. And we have no requests for the sale or disposal of books, equipment, or supplies. And that concludes my report. Thank you. Moving on to the committee reports, Budget Audit Committee.
Steve Carr, we had a budget audit, we had a budget audit committee meeting last week on Wednesday. Here's for the month, $751,276.98. Vote to approve the business and financial report and expenditures per policy 34, 32, 34, 33. Business non-instructional operations, budget and expense report, annual financial statements as presented for October 2025.
Napier, second.
Any questions?
Yes.
The answer is yes. The difference is that the business managers before this business manager had other jobs. So they could only work when we were working a shorter period of time, but they would do extra work in the evenings outside of their own work hours or on weekends. So the hours were always booked, but they weren't done during the regular school day with us.
Budgeted that this budget season.
Correct.
Anything else? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Okay.
We had our, my last policy committee meeting, prior to this, and after a quick glance at, the meeting minutes, the board chair's responses are in the meeting minutes also, whenever a response is necessary. Like, so when Nate makes a public comment, the board doesn't tend to respond
No, they do.
to Nate's. Oh, well, those
No,
aren't.
we do. I get a letter every time from Fox.
Just say thank you.
Among other things, yes.
Grow a bigger beard. Ah. Yeah, yeah, 2 months ago, they're right in there. So, and then we're gonna fast track a policy tonight. So, per the bylaws, 9311 of the Thomaston Board of Education policies will be adopted and amended after consideration of 2 regular meetings of the Board of Education, unless a vote of 2/3 of the members present at the Board of Education meeting. The board permits a fast tracking of a policy adopted or amendment. I move the policy committee proposed amendments to policy 5141.25, students with special health care needs be permitted for fast tracking by 2/3 vote of members present at tonight's Board of Education meeting.
Here, a second.
Are there any questions on why we are fast tracking this policy? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
I move to accept and approve the changes to policy 5141.25, students with special health care needs as presented.
Here, a second.
Any questions on the policy? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. Go ahead, Steve. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.